Hello and welcome to Lesson 25, pages 188 and 189. This is the song titled The Mulberry Bush in the Level 1 book. And this is a familiar folk song they write here, or perhaps nursery rhyme, this might be what we call it. So you might have heard this melody before we're going to play. And students, today we're going to explore something called block chords in order to practice this song, okay? And what block chords is, when you're using them for practice, you're taking the notes that are in a melody and they might be in the shape of a chord. And a chord is really two or more notes that we're playing at the same time, usually three. It's called a triad. Wow, some advanced terminology today. When you're playing three notes at the same time. And we're going to be exploring some of these to practice the hand position in order to play the mulberry bush, okay? And the block chords help us get our hands in the proper position using the right fingers before trying to play the melody. Okay, so let's get our hands set up and talk about the notes in this song, and then I'll show you our little block chord exercise that we're going to apply to this song. So first up in the mulberry bush, it looks like the left hand is playing which note here? Middle C. So middle C is in the left hand with finger number 1. So we'll take our finger number 1 and we'll find middle C under our group of 2 black keys here. Here's middle C, very nice. And our right hand, it says finger number 3. So 1, 2, 3 is on an E. Hopefully you're beating me to those notes, very good. And E. So that means our thumbs are sharing middle C, but students, if you notice, middle C actually is always in the left hand in this song. Even when we look at the second page, we're only using the left hand for middle C, okay? So we have finger 1 on C, and the left hand and right hand could be a way to think about it, or finger number 3 on E. So this is how we're going to set up our hands. I'm going to leave my left hand thumb kind of off the piano here, okay? And now let's talk about those block chords instead of doing our single note warm-up that we're used to doing. So students, in the first line of the song, we play the notes C, E, and G. And this can be our first, what we call block chord, where we're going to play C, E, and G at the same time. And think about what fingers have to use that in this song. Well, finger 1 in the left hand plays C, finger 3 in the right hand plays E, and finger 5 in the right hand plays G. So when I play all those notes together, I'm going to move all my fingers out of the way so you can see, but you shouldn't be playing them like this. And it is C, E, and G. It sounds very beautiful. It's called a C major chord. Your teacher will be talking more about that as you progress through your books. You don't really need to know that, just a little extra bonus knowledge there. But when we play C, E, and G together, this kind of helps set up our hand to play C, E, and G like this. So sometimes before we can play, for example, the first line, C, 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 E, G, G, E, and then maybe measure 4, C. We're just going back and forth between these 3 notes. We're going to press and hold all of them at the same time. So let's practice that together, playing C, E, G with 1 in the left hand, 3 in the right hand, and 5 in the right hand. We're going to let's do 5 of them in a row as half notes. So we'll go 1, 2. Or let's do actually as dotted half notes. That'll come in handy for practicing our song. Let's do 4 in a row. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. C, E, G, 4 of them. Together. 2, 3. Again. Together. 2, 3. Another. Together. 2, 3. Together. 2, 3. So students, kind of what we did there was we practiced the first 4 measures of the song. I know I said 5 times the first time, but we're just going to do it 4 times for each. And now we've practiced having our hands in position on C, E, and G for the first 4 measures. So now we can split up those block chords and start to play the rhythms in the notes that are written here, right? So in measure 1, we have C, 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 C for 2, then E, G, G, E, for 2, C. And that's all in our block chord, C, E, and G. Okay? All right. Before we start playing through our song, let's talk about our second block chord. And we're going to try to play through like our whole song in block chords before practicing the melody. So in measure 5, we get our first new note other than C, E, and G. We get a D. Okay? So we have D, 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 D. Sorry, singing the wrong note there. And then E, D, D, B, G in measure 8. So we're going to kind of ignore this E for our block chord exercise. But here we have D, B, and G outlined very nicely for us here. So D is played with finger 2 in the right hand, and G and B is played with fingers 2 on B and 4 on G in the left hand. So this is our other block chord. You're really using these notes in measures 5 through 8. And remember, there isn't an E in there as well. But we're just going to play G, B, D. So we could do that to practice now our hand position for the next 4 measures, 5 through 8. We're going to play G for 3 beats. So G, and this is G, B, D. This is actually a G major chord. Don't need to know that, just some extra information. But G, B, D, we'll play this for 2, 3, and then measure 6, we'll just play this, just to practice having our hands in the right place. Together, 2, 3, and then remember there'll be an E at the end of that measure. Measure 7, still play our block chord just to have our hands in position, and measure 8, still playing our block chord. And remember, I know not all of these notes are in 5, 6, 7, and 8, but we're just practicing having our hands in position. So let's review. The first block chord for measures 1 through 4 is going to be C, E, G. Now our next one is G, B, D. And if you can move your fingers in these 2 positions, you're going to have a much easier time playing this song because you're in control of all of these notes, C, E, G, and G, B, D. Okay, that's a lot of what this song uses. Mostly, it's actually all the notes that this song uses other than an A at the very end in the left hand. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's play our G chord or block chord, and we're going to do 4 of them that are 3 beats each. Okay, so 4, 2, and 2 for those. That's left, left, right, I was saying. Let's do 5 through 8. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Together, 2, 3, again, together, 2, 3, measure 7, together, 2, 3, measure 8, together, 2, 3. Very good, students. Now let's try to put this block chord hand position to use. And we're going to do this 4 measures at a time in our song. We're going to play C, E, G for the first 4 measures, right? But now we're going to read what's on the page. But your hands are probably already really used to the notes that we need. Okay, so let's try it very slowly. C, 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 E, G, G, E, C, C. Okay, I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, here we go. C, 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 C for 2, E, G, G, E, C for 2, C. See, there's all our notes that we use, C, E, G. Now let's move to measure 6 in practice. Remember, we're doing D, 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 just that other E is in measure 6, and then D, D, B, G. And you've practiced playing these notes, so you're going to be very good at these measures. So now let's do 5 through 8, nice and slow reading it, okay? Let's see, I'll fix that line. Okay, here we go. 5 through 8. 1, 2, 3, here we go. D, 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 D for 2. Now E, E, D, D, B, G, 2, 3, and off. Great, great work. Now 9 through 12, is actually the same exact thing as our first 4 measures. So you could practice playing the C block chord here again for 4 times in a row if you'd like. Hit wrong hands, or wrong fingers rather. So now let's do this for the extra practice. Let's just go ahead and play the melody 9 through 12. So we've already practiced our block chords. So here we go, 9 through 12. 1, 2, 3, here we go. C, 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 C for 2. E, G, G, E, C for 2, C. Okay, and at the very end here, students, we're back in our G block chord hand position, right? We're going to use these 3 notes. But in measure 14, I wanted to point out we have an A. So we get G, A, B, C, C at the end of our song. Okay, but you're only using those G, B, D notes, other than that A that sneaks in there. Here we go. Let's try 13 through 16, the last line. 1, 2, 3, here we go. D for 2, D, G, A, B, C, 2, 3, C, 2, 3. Fantastic job reviewing this song. So just to review, the first 4 measures you could practice playing your C block chord. I'll just write a C over top. Now measures 5 through 8, you could practice playing your G block chord just to help with your hand position. 9 through 12, you could practice your C block chord again. And then the last line, you could practice your G block chord for the last line of the song. So that would look like this. I'll go ahead and play it for you as a demo. C2, 3 measure 2, C2, 3, C2, 3, C, and then measure 5, I would do my G, GBD, 2, 3, GBD, GBD, measure 8, and now I'm back to measure 9 on C. Remember, students, this is just helping you to get comfortable using the notes C, E, and G for this. And now I'm back to measure 13, G, G, and then for 15 and 16, I guess actually we would go back to C because it's the C major chord. So I didn't point that out. Whoop. Or just C note. So it would be more like this. G, G, C, C. So it gets shorter there. Okay? And if this feels like a lot for you, remember, all we're doing is practicing playing the notes in our melody. That's as simple as it is. I know I used a lot of other terminology today, but all we're doing is playing C, E, G and G, B, D. And the reason why we're doing that is to practice which finger is playing which note, but just at a little bit of a slower pace, okay? So don't overthink it. All right, let's go back to the beginning of the song and try the full song, The Mulberry Bush. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. C, 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 C for 2. E, G, G, E, C for 2. C, D, 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 D for 2. E, D, D, B, G, 2, 3. Measure 9. C, 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 C for 2. E, G, G, E, C for 2. C, D for 2. D, G, A, B, C, 2, 3. C, 2, 3, and off. Great work completing the Mulberry Bush and working through your new block chords. I'll see you on the next song.